This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Upgrade season. The time when you dig into forums and reviews, and although neither camera we're discussing here today is new, I still had a hard time deciding which of these cameras to get. Now, I know I'm not the only one, and decisions like this are daunting, confusing, and unique to your needs as a creator. Although this particular comparison isn't new, my decision might surprise you. So let me take you back. I originally had the A7 III, an incredible camera, and I loved it. But when the A7C came out, it was basically the same thing, just smaller. And I was traveling a lot, vlogging a ton, and I wanted something that I could throw in a bag and not really think about. I even made a video in 2020 comparing the A7C to the A7 III, and my conclusion was basically that it's the same camera, but cuter. So I switched. Then the A7 IV and the A7C II came out, and again, we had the same story. Similar internals, smaller body, lower price point. And I didn't really feel a need to upgrade yet at the time. So 3 years ago, I made a video saying that my A7C, a then 2-year-old camera, was still in my kit, and I meant it. But now, the time has finally come. Here's the thing, cameras get more advanced, our skills get better, and our needs change. And this year, my needs changed. I needed something that would keep up with the way I work now and not the way I worked 3 years ago. Here's what I was looking for this time around. Still small because vlogging and travel are still a thing. Something that can be my second camera angle but in studio only. And I'm downsizing my kit to only my A1 II for hybrid shooting because I'm selling my A7S III and A7R III, so I don't really need a smaller second hybrid as much anymore. Photography is a nice bonus, but honestly not the priority right now. And Evan wanted to use this camera to record his podcast, which means long recording times and certainly no overheating were non-negotiable. So before we jump into which one I chose, let's compare the A7C II to the ZV-E1.
You enjoying this video? Cool. Couple things I'm gonna ask you to do then. 1, maybe subscribe to my channel. 2, listen to me talk about Squarespace for a minute. Thanks. I used Squarespace to make my website. I legitimately did, even before they paid me to do this ad. The template I chose was clean and stylish, and I literally built it myself. I really struggle with design, but Squarespace made it super easy for me to showcase my portfolio beautifully. The platform is super easy for me to customize, update regularly, and I can get analytics about the purchases made on my digital products through my online store. And I run my own business, so I don't have time to learn a whole new platform. All right, so head over to Squarespace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can use this code right here to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks, Squarespace. Now back to the video.
Now, both of these cameras are certainly upgrades over the A7C I, even if some of those upgrades are pretty minor. This comparison is between the two new cameras and not the old one. Let's start with the A7C II. It has a 33 megapixel full-frame sensor, built-in EVF, and 2 more dials than the ZV-E1. It's compact, of course, and has an electronic front curtain shutter. This is essentially the A7C, but like a grown-up version with a real job who pays taxes and is finally getting its life together. So overall, it's got more resolution, more control, more color options, and all in the same cute little package. Now here's what I don't love. The 1.5 times crop in 4K 60 and 120 frames per second back in 1080p. The low light performance also does not stack up to the ZV-E1, but it's certainly not terrible either. And now, the ZV-E1. 12 megapixel A7S and FX3 class sensor, aka insane low light, uncropped 4K 60, and 4K 120 with a tiny 1.11 times crop. It's also compact, electronic shutter only. This thing is basically a baby FX3, so if I was only shooting video, this camera would be dangerously tempting. Now here's what I don't like. 12 megapixel photos, so not for hybrid work, no EVF, fewer dials, overheating when shooting long form video content, and according to the internet, most people notice this at the 20 to 30 minute mark, and we'll come back to this a bit later on. And yes, I know the ZV-E1 is marketed as a video-centric camera. The missing EVF and the dials technically make sense for this, but still, once you're used to having these things, you miss them. Okay, so let's talk about what's actually comparable with these two cameras. Now the A7C II weighs about 514 grams and the ZV-E1 about 483 grams. Now in terms of the size, they're both tiny. Now the price of each body on the Sony website is only about a $200 difference. And when it comes to the price, the ZV-E1 is $24.99 USD and the A7C II is $22.99 USD. Now they would be the same price, but the A7C II is actually $200 off right now, and I wonder what that means. Both have a max recording time of 13 hours, in theory, and with the stabilization, Dynamic Active was originally only with the ZV-E1 firmware, but now it's been updated and added to the A7C II. So in terms of the size, the price, and the stabilization, they're surprisingly close. So when I narrowed it down to what actually mattered for how I use this camera, based on the criteria I mentioned earlier in the video, let's tally up the final score. So for low light, the ZV-E1 wins, and for slow-mo, the ZV-E1 wins. For photos, the A7C II wins, ergonomics, the A7C II wins, and for the size for travel and use as a second angle, it's kind of a tie. So here's what tipped the scales. And honestly, it was really close. The ZV-E1 absolutely tempted me, especially with that low light performance and almost no crop in slow-mo. But this is gonna be my second camera body, and I already have the A1 II as my slow-mo and low light beast. The deal breaker was the overheating in the ZV-E1 when shooting long-form content. Both cameras technically have a max recording time of around 13 hours, but the ZV-E1 overheats, and a lot of people have reported that this happens around the 20 to 30 minute mark. And because Evan also wanted to use this for his podcasting camera, and I needed it to be a reliable second angle for longer shoots in studio, overheating was the deal breaker. So yeah, it was a really close call, but I ended up choosing the A7C II. Yes, I know the A7C II is a 2-year-old camera and is suspiciously on sale on the Sony website, but the A7C II specs will hold up for me for a while longer, and I'm not totally in the mood to fork out the cash for an A7C III if that were to come out soon. And honestly, if I didn't have the need for long-form recording and if I didn't care about having the option to shoot photos, I would have gone with the ZV-E1. It's an amazing camera, but for my workflow, which includes travel, vlogging, podcast recording, and a reliable second angle in studio, the A7C II just made more sense. And if you're in the middle of choosing between these two cameras, your needs might look completely different from mine. This just guided you along the process with me of choosing which of these cameras to upgrade to. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please give it a like down below, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell to get notified for all future videos, and I will see you in the next one.